Hello everyone and welcome to episode 18 of Lesbian Talk.
Lesbian Talk.
Yeah, Lesbian Talk would be a completely different type of show. In many ways would be better.
But might be illegal in some states.
Even lesbian talking is illegal in some states.
Well, you're allowed to talk, it's just, what you talk about. I mean, I guess if you talk about terrorist things or...
I've heard about Atlanta. They don't like lesbians to talk.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, I'm just...
I thought you meant like the Tennessee Don't Say Gay bill.
I was just choosing somewhere from the Bible Belt, randomly.
Oh, I like Atlanta, it's a nice city. It's actually, it's a pretty big city. It's kind of... I don't know, I'm not going to say it's liberal, but I've heard it's not as conservative as the rest of the South.
There's a rather amusing story. Okay, there was this Scottish airline, and their tradition was, whenever they opened up a new route, was they would go to the new route with their traditional band, made up of all the people who worked for the airline, and they would play their traditional Scottish instruments, a song to do with the city. I don't know who did their research, but whenever they opened up a route from Scotland, somewhere in Scotland, to Atlanta, they played the only song they could find about Atlanta, which was actually the song that was made famous for being the one that the Union sang when they were burning the place down in the Civil War.
What song is that?
I can't remember that detail, unfortunately. I didn't reread this thing. This was read several years ago, but there was a Scottish airline that happened, and it caused a major faux pas in Atlanta.
Ooh, awkward.
So if any of you are from Atlanta and know what song was sung whenever they burned down Atlanta, let us know.
That sound was me opening a soda. Sorry, guys, because I'm exhausted. We're both exhausted. We did a lot of filming.
We're drinking pee.
We're not drinking pee. We're drinking this South American soda called Inca Cola. And it actually is a very unfortunate shade of yellow.
It is. And you can blame Brad Jones. He did a drinking, let's try an Inca Cola. I thought it looked interesting. I come over here and I'm like, holy shit, the giant does Inca Cola. And I developed an obsession for it.
Damn it, Brad Jones.
So what was our word from last time?
Well, it wasn't really a word because we were in Canada on location last weekend. So we actually had to use Wikipedia.
We're in Maryland on location as well.
Yeah, well, you're not on location. Or you're on location, I'm not.
Okay.
Because I live here. But...
That's what you say.
We went through one little teeny place in the Czech Republic, and then we found out a thing about some woods in Shropshire or
oh, yes, so we decided...
So I said, screw it, we're just going to talk about England.
Staffordshire, Hampshire, Northamptonshire, and somewhere Shire.
Piccadilly Cogfosters.
So we're going to talk about England for a little while. Being the only person in the room right now, unless Skippers wants to reveal something amazing, who has actually been to England, I can say, England is certainly a land full of ings. The end.
Well, I've never been to England, but I have seen things on PBS and watched shows on BBC. Does that count?
Well, you're closer than... I really can't think of a way to finish that sentence.
Well, I'll just edit that part out.
No, don't. It's funny.
So anyway, everybody.
England is... How do you put it? England is one of the several constituent parts of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdoms, which are... technically, the Kingdom of Scotland and the Kingdom of England, which also includes the Principality of Wales. Northern Ireland is not a kingdom. It has never been a kingdom. There apparently was a semi-mythical High King of Ireland, but it was it's never 100% been established as far as I can recall. Ireland had earldoms. There was a thing in Irish history called the Flight of the Earls.
That sounds amazing.
Doesn't that...
Quickly, run, quickly! Out of here!
Yeah, basically, if I recall correctly, the English came over and all of the earls who were ruling different parts of Ireland all ran off to the continent.
Did they play the William Tell Overture as they ran? Come quickly! Come! And there's like rioting peasants like, whoa!
In Irish accents.
I can't do an Irish
accent. Come
accent.
quickly! We're going to have to get away to the French. Oh, the English are after us. Oh, did he?
That sounds vaguely comical. It doesn't sound like there was the threat of death at any point in time. Like, it sounds like that sounds like a magical adventure. Like, Bass Rankin would have, like, animated it, you know, in the 1980s or something. And it would have had, like, it would be like Flight of Dragons, except Flight of the Earls. And it would have had, like, you know, some...
The cat's attacking stuff.
Cat is going crazy. Kippers, come here. Stop fooling around.
So, the England...
Flight of the Arrows. There.
England is the largest part of the UK. It's the most... Whenever people say British or UK in America, quite often they're using the shorthand for England, which is ridiculous because Britain is the entire island. So Scottish and Welsh, sorry, technically British.
Shut up. Why do you hate liberty?
And UK includes Northern Ireland as well. And again, if you're Northern Irish and you don't care for that, sorry, technically you're not right.
Sorry, move to real Ireland or move to America. Or
well, if you're Northern Irish like I am, you get de facto dual citizenship, so you can choose, and you get very easily, you know, choose.
That's kind of cool.
So, but
well, honey, see, if you're technically Republic of Irish, if the whole thing with my visa falls through, you can move to Republic of Ireland and then adopt me.
Adopt what?
Like, there's this, I don't know, there's someplace and somewhere there was this rich old guy, and he, for some reason, he had to adopt his own girlfriend or something like that. Because then I would be a citizen because you are.
Marriage.
Yeah, I said in case that fell through.
I don't think you're allowed to adopt someone who you are divorced from.
No, not in case our marriage falls through, in case the visa falls through.
But still married. You're not allowed to adopt someone who you're married to.
You're not in the States.
I doubt you're allowed to do that in Ireland as well.
Damn it. I thought they had something going there. Alright, continue.
Anyway, the thing about the UK is Northern Ireland and Wales, to a certain extent, are both very like Scotland. Now, Scotland is like a cooler version of Northern Ireland and Wales. And,
plus kilts.
Before anyone bitches about me, parents are Scottish, raised in Northern Ireland, family is ancestrally Welsh. Come at me, bro. England is separate from the other ones. They're all... Although there isn't really any different... Anyone who says there's a massive cultural difference between any parts of the two islands in Great Britain is talking out their ass, or they're just being pointlessly nationalistic. There's not much difference. There's even less difference genetically. They're all a bunch of, white people. So, anyone says you're special because you got Irish ancestry? No.
And you don't get to be special by claiming Irish ancestry when you're obviously something else. For example, Asian or
Well, you can be
Swedish.
Asian Irish, but...
No, but like how everyone's like, everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
But Irish is not a separate ethnic group. Neither is English, neither is Scottish, neither is Welsh. Okay, Welsh has a slightly more case to it because, they've done genetic tests and stuff, and it's like there are some pockets of Wales where there's been almost no influx of people since, like, the Romans came, so fair enough.
That's kind of scary, actually.
But the rest of them, they're pretty much the same group genetically. It's just there's some cultural differences, and
So does that mean that I have more genetic diversity than you do?
quite possibly.
Because my mom comes from Polish and Irish stock.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is Ashkenazi Russian Jew.
Yeah, quite probably because although the British are like the people of the UK and Ireland, they're a melting pot of
All of the same white people.
a bunch of different white people. But, they've all melted together over a long period of time, so therefore there's no real difference genetically between these particular countries. So they exist as cultural and political entities, but not as diverse ethnic groups.
So I'm
So
I'm more of a melting pot than you are genetically.
it's quite possible.
America, America. Come on, sway with me.
Anyway, England, I lived in England for about 3-4 years. It's a nice place. And, London is a really good city. So is York. And we are hoping to move to Manchester. Unfortunately, England...
To watch soccer. I mean, what?
England, it's culturally, 'cause most of our audience is American. Just imagine America, but slightly more
Metric?
more ornate.
Ornate.
Yeah, because England is very similar to America, but England's got more history. It doesn't have to deify a small part of history. It's got sort of got 1,000 years of history just going back, and so it's got a lot more showy things that have happened over the years, such as the weird pageantry about the Queen and stuff.
Well, she seems nice enough.
Oh yeah, but you got like little things like whenever the Queen is not allowed to stand in the House of Parliament.
What will happen if she does?
In the House of Commons? Legally, she can't.
Oh.
Because,
I thought like maybe lightning would strike or something really neat would happen.
No.
Like King Arthur would resurrect.
But the reason she's not is because King Charles I, he was the one that was beheaded, walked in there. He walked in there to arrest some members of Parliament who were being all like, "Oh, King, you shouldn't have absolute power." So he was going in there to arrest them, and he brought the guards himself, and then all of them.
See, this is why you delegate people. Delegate. If you're a monarch and you don't have the skill set, delegate.
Oh no! He got the boss line. All of the guys he was going to arrest had left. Mm-hmm. So what he said was, there was a dramatic pause. I assume as he was taking off sunglasses, and he said, "I see, the birds have flown."
Yeah! He did not say that.
Yes, that's the quote.
Did Parliament laugh at him?
Well, if they laughed, they could probably be arrested for pissing off the king because he was an absolute monarch at that point.
Yeah, but they probably got home to their parliamentary wives and be like, "You'll never guess what happened in Parliament today, right?"
That was like the start of CSI Miami.
No. They'll be like, so like Reginald and Maxwell and John, because those are the only British names I can think of right this second. They were like totally fucking around and being like, "Yeah, what?" And then the king was like, "Oh no, you didn't." And he like came and he was like, "Have you seen them?" We were like, "No." They went to Starbucks. They'll be back. And he was like, "Oh." We were like, "You asshole."
So after that happened,
that was verbatim, by the way.
Several years later, King Charles I, he was king of the UK rather than England. Well, England and Scotland at the time, both of them. But there was a civil war. He lost his head, literally.
Is he the one that Cromwell?
Yeah, then UK became basically a republic for 10 years. A theocratic Christian republic.
It's
Christian
me,
Taliban stuff.
Oliver Cromwell. And guess what, everybody? I'm outlawing FUD.
Pretty
We're
much.
gonna pray forever.
And we're gonna try and do genocide on the Irish. They did try.
You can't do the voice as good as me.
I know, you can do the voice. Do you say the line?
I was born to be Oliver Cromwell. And then we're going to go over to Ireland and we're going to try some genocide with the Irish. They don't pray good enough.
Yeah. But ever since then, it has been illegal for the reigning monarch to set foot in the House of Commons. So whenever the Queen has to do a big speech to both houses...
Did she tweet it?
No.
Oh.
She has to go into the House of Lords, and she sits there, and then then she has to send a man whose name is Black Rod.
That's what she said.
Who wears a black uniform and carries a black rod, and he whacks it on the door.
Oh, wow.
He smacks it on the door, and basically...
I guess it is what once you go black, you don't go black.
Yes. If I remember correctly, this is just off the top of my head, he then, the Parliament will then open the door and close it in his face a couple of times.
Oh, snap!
And then he will walk off, and Parliament will come to the House of Lords, but it'll take them about 10 to 20 minutes just to show to the Queen that they can ignore her power because they're Parliament.
Can't they just email? I mean, what? No offense or nothing, but government is expensive, alright? So, like, can't you just email them, like, "Your presence is requested at the House of Lords. I've got something to say to you all." And they'll be like, "Alright, yeah, we're on lunch, so we'll be right there, okay?"
Well, but this is why I'm saying that England is like America, but more innate. America in its 200 years has got these really arcane rules, say to do with the filibuster and stuff like that, and people are talking about, "Oh, that's silly and pointless, and that has lasted for 200 years. That doesn't make sense now." Imagine that times about 5. And that's what you get with England. So you get these things which...
You guys are really good at wasting time.
You get these things which seem to make very little sense, such as the design of the House of Commons. You've got, the two sides that are facing each other rather than, everyone facing forward like in the American one. Yeah. You got these two things, one side has the government...
They throw spitballs at each other? That'd be great.
I don't think... They probably did that in the past, actually, but on one side you got the government, on the other side you got the opposition. Now, if you notice, they are a couple of meters apart. They are the exact meters apart so that if you both have swords, you can't have a sword fight.
What if you had a claymore? Those are pretty long.
Yeah, but you still only be able to probably get a
If
tip.
you were a Scottish MP, you could bring a claymore.
Well, you're not allowed to bring a sword to the House of Parliament.
Well, then we shouldn't have done it in the first place, then.
Well, that was the rules back then to stop sword fights. And for instance, but there is
I can't reach.
There is one weapon allowed on the House of Commons floor.
The black rod.
No. Like stays outside, like it's hit on the door.
Oh.
Again, if I remember correctly, any history buffs, feel free to correct me. You've actually got a giant gold ceremonial mace that sits
for thwacking people if they talk
on the
for too long.
table.
Shut up, you!
It sits on the table between the two rows of chairs. This is the symbol of the Queen's power. In several times, at least twice in the last 50 years, an MP has picked it up and sort of waved it threateningly at the other ones just to show how pissed off they were. One of them was Michael Heseltine. He was a conservative.
What a name that is.
And he got the nickname Tarzan because of that and his long blonde hair.
So does the Queen blog about it? I was sitting at home petting my corgis, and don't you know they were swinging my power mace about in the House of Commons, and I really hate how that makes me feel.
Well, that was the 70s, so I don't think she would do that. But then the next guy that did that, he picked it up and tried to do the same thing, but he dropped it.
Oh no!
He had to pay to get it repaired, and everyone insulted him for weeks.
That's that's terrible. So that's England.
But,
this has been your little learning time about England.
Yeah, England, basically America, but with more pointless bells and whistles.
And all of their parrots are dead. Amen. Because everything I know about England, I learned from Monty Python. Just like everything I know about Wales, I learned for that one Hugh Grant movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's also got a healthy dose of socialism.
Yay, socialism! It tastes like McDonald's. So that's about our first half quadrant of the show. Honey, what did you want to talk about next?
Well, movie time?
It's movie time.
Yeah, one of the things I decided to do, because I'm over with Omega for a few weeks, was I would bring some movies that I think are classics that she's never seen before. Nothing too horrible, nothing I've reviewed, nothing that'll give her, wish to commit suicide, because, I'm not doing that again.
I'm dying just now.
I'm not doing that again. Episode 5 of my 5th series, it's not out yet, I haven't even filmed it, but that episode made me worried that she would commit suicide.
What? No, I was just a horrible... what happened was we watched it and I was like, that was horrific. Actually, not in so many words. And then, so, she had to be on Radiodrome because they record late, so I took my tablet into the bedroom to fall asleep watching Mythbusters. That's pretty far from suicide.
Well, no, I was saying I was worried, but given how upset you seem to be.
I was going to kill myself with a tablet?
Yes, you could swallow it.
But it's an HD+.
You could still swallow it.
Anyway, what movie did we watch this week?
Yes, I brought one of the movies, and we both decided that it was a Kurt Russell and John Carpenter type of week. So we watched Big Trouble in Little China. You've never seen it before. What did you think?
It was fun. I mean, it was pretty cool. I really hate when people are like, you've never seen XYZ movie? How can this possibly be? And I'm like, I got shit to do, Ain't nobody got time for that. So we watched this because we did have time for that. It was funny. I mean, it was very 80s. I liked how pretty much every woman in the movie was like, let me tell you what's going on with my expositional dialogue. As you know, Bob, I'm so-and-so. And I like that. And Cat's massacring this stuffed fruit bat that I have.
Yeah, that was got in Disney.
It's a plushy fruit bat. It's not an actual stuffed fruit bat.
What else? We all got a rather amusement from the... We all got rather... Yeah, that was a mangled sentence.
We was amused.
We were very amused by the escalator coming out of Neon Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
And... Oh, honey, look, what? This thing is flying towards you, it's going to kill you, I will save you. It's all in the reflexes.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah, there was a lot of character actors, and I was like, hey, it's that guy. And she was like, who? I'm like, that guy, he was on that one episode of that show in, 1989.
You were talking about Dennis Dunn, weren't you?
I don't know.
The sort of the sidekick who should have been the lead character?
No, it was, there were just people that, had one line. I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Ah, okay.
There was one guy who was a tourist taking a picture. I'm like, hey, it's him. He was on, I've seen him before.
And I was like, I think he's just an extra.
See, she knows, like, and see, if you could be here right now, literally, my cat is, like, locked in a life or death struggle with this plushy fruit bat. But, no, see, I'm always doing that because I'm like, hey, it's so-and-so, or hey, it's her, I like her. And she's like, what Hagen is? And I'm like, I don't know that guy. And she knows, like, the name of every actor or actress ever. So.
Oh, not everyone, but I know quite a few in Big Trouble in Little China. Not all of them. You know, just because I could point out David Hong in the trailer for R.I.P.D.
Well, I want to see that, actually. It looks good.
Yeah, the guy played Lopan. He's in that.
It kind of, you know what, it kind of looks like Men in Black, but supernatural instead of science fiction.
So, would you suggest people watch Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got some time to kill and you're like, I want a movie that's not very serious and kind of funny and it's got cool 80s special effects. We were talking about how 80s crappy special effects can sometimes look better than modern special effects.
Oh yeah, the lightning looked wonderful. CGI doesn't look perfect with lightning. The lightning in that film, it looked really, really good. The another thing that looks better in the 80s than it does tend to now, at least in my opinion, is ghost effects. My favorite all-time ghost effect is in Poltergeist. Whenever you have all these ghosts just walking past the camera. I have never seen ghost effects that good anywhere else.
So how do they do it? Do you know?
It's just optical effects. It's done a lot simpler. But CGI apparently is just in vogue, so they'll use that for almost anything when it's not necessary.
Well, wouldn't it be cheaper to use practical effects?
No, CGI is a case of film it and then they just draw it in later. It's easier and it's easier.
Yeah, but you still have to pay someone to do that. That ain't cheap.
Yeah, but you're just paying a couple of people to do it rather than using testing things, making sure things work, and you make sure you get the light right and everything.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
CGI is the cheaper option. But yeah, other films.
We'll just, if we ever need that, we'll just hire Phil Bunny.
And another film with the same sort of thing is Ghostbusters. You know, the Ghostbusters optical effects and Ghostbusters 2. Like with the Scoleri brothers and some of the librarian ghost in Ghostbusters, really good special effects mixture of puppetry and optical effects, blows the fuck out of CGI.
Yeah, you take that CGI, you take that and like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like Northern Ireland, so suck it, bitches.
How does that have anything to do with anything
I don't know.
else?
I'm just returning to the fact that I was loudly expressing that you can't bitch at me for ranting about the UK.
Would you like to have a t-shirt with a haggis on it so you can wear it around and feel proud about yourself?
Not really.
Okay.
But I brought us several other films. Now, because we record these about a week in advance, I was thinking I should probably mention them all here and then you guys make suggestions and that'll be the one we watch. Unfortunately, that's not going to be feasible because this goes up about a week after we record it.
Yep.
So, we're not going to be able to do that. However, I will list you the other films, and hopefully two of these will appear in the episode in the weeks coming.
Unless I refuse, which is always possible.
Yeah. So,
I'm capricious.
So we've got John in The Thing.
The Thing. Although I already know the twist of The Thing.
We have Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. We have Return of the Living Dead. And The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
I actually really want to see that, so maybe we'll watch that one next, because I like What's-His-Face.
Who's What's-His-Face?
Eric Idle.
Oh yeah, he's good in that. It's Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
Terry Gilliam's my favorite director.
Oh, speaking of Baron von Munchausen and something from the 80s, it's time for crowdsourcing. So if you know the answer to this, and you can help me out with it, write the show, tweet at me, tweet at Hagen, comment on Facebook, or...
Tweet at Kippers.
Don't tweet at Kippers. Or comment on Project Million.
Tweet at Giovanni.
Would you hush? Okay, so, back in the early 80s, like, I want to say maybe 83, 84... Yeah, it would have been 83 or 84. I don't know when this animated thing was done. It might have been done in the 70s and just aired in the 80s. I think it may have been an animated adaptation of Baron von Munchausen's Adventures, but it showed on Nickelodeon, and I'd seen it like at least twice, maybe 3 times in my life, because Nickelodeon had no rights back then and would just buy foreign rights and run stuff really cheap. And the only thing I remember about this movie is it seemed pretty long at the time, and there were these little alien creatures, or they might have been alien creatures, they might have been something else, but they were blue and they were shaped like teardrops, and they had to be helped either back to their planet, or they had to be helped to get water or something like that.
Sounds like Yellow Submarine gone wrong.
Well, no, but it wasn't horrible and existential and like the Yellow Submarine, but they weren't like the blue meanies. They were basically like, you know, like the blue slimes from Dragon Quest.
No.
Well, you don't, but the audience does. They were like that.
Do all of the audience know that?
Probably.
You're speaking for them.
They can Google. But so yeah, if anyone knows what that was, it wasn't the 1977 French version, because I found that on YouTube. But this has been bothering me literally for 20 years, and I just remembered it now. So if anyone knows what that was, you let me know.
I have something similar.
You'll be handsomely rewarded, probably with like, you know, we'll mention you on the air, and everyone will be like, "You were mentioned on Lesbian Talk. I love you. I'm so famous."
I have a film that bothers me as well, similarly.
Oh yeah, you should say.
I watched this as a child. It was part of what I'm convinced was an anthology animated film. You've got, the bit I remember is it was some sort of a hell scene, and this man who was demonstrated to be a nasty man by standing on flowers and crushing them into the ground, and then his punishment in this hell scene was to have flowers sort of grow out of his skin.
Jesus!
So
it's like the last Chinese hell, the hell of flowers.
Chinese have a lot of hells.
Yep.
It's and for anyone asks, it's definitely not Creepshow. It was animated. I know it's not Creepshow. This was definitely animated, and it was definitely something to do with hell. And someone made the suggestion that it might actually be a Christian animated film. Someone said they've heard of a Christian movie that's got bits that might fit that, but I haven't come across that film. So, any suggestions, please?
If you know, write the show. Get in touch with us.
Yes.
But
we also have to talk about Big Trouble in Little China again, because it's good.
Yeah, we still have 2 minutes left. So anyway,
Big
Trouble in Little China. It was good, and
Kurt
I really
Russell
wished that I had wontons.
Kurt Russell really, in any sane film, Kurt Russell would have been the sidekick, and Dennis Dunn would have been the main star. It did the Green Hornet sort of idea, tongue-in-cheek, that you've got the hero is useless type thing, way better than the Green Hornet movie did.
And it did that thing where all Asian people default know some kind of martial arts and are really good at it.
Yeah, just like Green Hornet.
I haven't seen Green Hornet because I don't care.
The Green Hornet 60s...
I hate to break it to you, but...
The Green Hornet 60s show is much more interesting because it's set in the same universe as the 60s Batman.
Oh boy.
And Bruce Lee plays Kato.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there was an episode where the two shows crossed over, so you got Batman met Bruce Lee.
Wow. There's probably slash fiction of that.
There probably is.
And that's kind of upsetting.
Not really.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So there was trouble in China. I like how, like, San Francisco PD were nowhere to be seen at any point in time. They're like people having, like, tongue wars in, like, an alleyway, and they're like, well...
With Tommy guns.
Yeah, I like it. Oh, yeah, I'll just use... And first of all, Tommy guns seem cool, but... It's not exactly, I mean, it would be more expensive to you know, perform all the upkeep on a gun that old than, I don't know. I thought that was eh.
Maybe it was a new one.
Yeah, it could have been like a replica.
And part of the reason I brought Big Trouble in particular was because the three storms were based off of the three Masters of Death from Shogun Assassin.
Shogun Assassin? I love that movie.
I can't remember what they were called in Lone Wolf and Cub. And, of course, we got those three. And then you got the fact that Raiden was based on lightning from those three.
Get over here!
It's like Big Trouble in Little China.
Was that the wrong one?
That's Scorpion.
Whatever.
Big Trouble in Little China inspires, accidentally, all of these really weird things. It's like a pop cultural nexus, because you got Carpenter, you got Kurt Russell, you got the stuff there to do with Shogun Assassin, you got the stuff there to do with Mortal Kombat.
Finish him! Fatality.
You've also got this stuff... the fact that it was supposed to be a sequel to Buckaroo Banzai. I can't remember the rest of the title, but Buckaroo Banzai wasn't a very good film. It had a very good theme, though.
Never seen.
It was originally supposed to be like a Western. It's just, there's a bunch of other little factors. It's like connected to so many other things.
It's like an IMDb fan's wet dream.
Possibly.
Oh, the trivia! I'll report all the trivia!
There's a beholder in it.
There is a beholder. And they were like, oh, pshaw. And I was like, hey, a beholder is like a CR4 rating, yo.
And they shot it in the head with an Uzi.
Because that happens.
And then they stabbed it in the head and it worked. Well,
You can't do like they can bend time and space.
but they were given magical god powers.
They were a beholder, ain't no thing. I mean, that's like how you take an entire campaign out.
And then, of course, you got like the bit where Lopan and Egg Shen are fighting what is basically a video game, like a Bushido Blade type video game. And
That's kind of funny.
Lopan was doing his fingers just like a Nintendo controller. Like, we haven't checked the dates of when it was made, but it was on the cusp. If it wasn't before NES, it was very early in. It was like 1983.
But was NES the first handheld controller? Because in America, because I know like Atari had the joystick, but might there not have been something in Japan?
There was possibly other ones, but it's still very early, especially for like one-on-one fighting games. I could be completely out on this, but I think that this was.
Wait a minute! Isn't that how you used to control Rock'em Sock'em Robots?
Yeah, I think they used 2 controllers. Didn't they use 2?
Yeah, like I think
he was. You can't see my hands, but I'm sort of imitating him. He was going like this to make it look like it was like an NES controller.
Yeah. Because didn't you gripped the thing and you controlled one punch with the other? So he might have been doing Rock'em Sock'em Robots if he wasn't doing a handheld controller.
Maybe. But, all these little things.
We're brilliant.
Big Little Trouble Little China seems to borrow a lot of pulp culture stuff, and it seems to have directly been connected with a bunch of other ones, inspiring or otherwise. So it makes it a fascinating piece of pop culture.
I'm so inspired that, do you know what I'm going to do?
Plus, I'd love to see a movie with Ash and Jack Burton. And Spoonie has a jacket that Dennis Dunn wears in that movie.
Oh, really? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's got a replica.
Well, as inspiring as that was, it's time for Skulls.
And Rar. And I want to cosplay as Jack Burton just so I can be all, hey, I'm useless, but I'm funny.
You just want a wife beater like that.
It was really, really funkily designed.
You could probably get it online.
Probably.
But for now, enjoy your Nanowar, everybody.
Skulls. That was the dulcet tones of Nanowar.
Why did you say it like that?
They're singing us to sleep.
No, they're not.
Rar, rar, skulls.
Anyway, so I know we mentioned it every so often, but we're running out of Nanowar songs to play. Can you believe it? But we do want to ask if you have a band, or if you know someone who does have a band, or if you compose music that you own, and you'd like to have us promo it, we will totally play that for the music break. So get in touch with us. It doesn't have to be metal. It could be anything, that you do, and it'll be like, this is so-and-so's band doing this song they've done.
As long as you have the rights, because I don't know what's going on anymore.
It's okay, babe. It's okay. So, yeah.
Gippers, protect me.
He's on the floor. See, we really do have a cat. I swear. Maybe later he'll come over and meep. But for now, do you know what time it is, honey?
Is it the time for the fucking lobster again?
He's not a fucking lobster. He's my sidekick.
Okay, he's a lobster who sometimes fucks.
Now he's on my shoulder. It's time for Giovanni's Trivia Fact. With me, Giovanni Jones. Although I want to apologize to my adoring fans out there. I didn't mean to be absent last week. Just, ran into a little bit of trouble at the Canadian border.
Yeah, you didn't have a passport.
I do still have a passport. It's just, there might have been a few instances in my past that, weren't exactly, kosher with the Canadian Border Patrol.
Did you punch Andrew Zimmern in the face?
No. Let's just say that, when I was young, I was in college, I, might have been a member of, some kind of radical anti-mammal organizations, but that's behind me now, so...
The Pink Panthers.
Why do you even talk sometimes? Seriously, I don't even know. So anyway, did you know that the defibrillator machine was invented in Belfast? It's true. It actually caused a kind of revolution in the medical community. There were so many people being injured in so many ways by so many different kinds of terrorism that doctors came from all over the world to train at Belfast. So, I guess terrorism is good for something.
Yeah, it's good for making Belfast have something noteworthy about it other than terrorism.
And blowing up mammals. So anyway, it's been me, Giovanni Jones, keeping it real, and I'll see everybody next week.
If only Giovanni... Oh, okay, sorry, fine. Skitter away. I was going to mention the fact that I was going to mention the fact that Giovanni has no idea how many lobsters were killed in Belfast and Northern Ireland, because Northern Ireland has a little bit of coastline.
Do you have a lot of lobsters on that coastline?
Well, those lobsters live in the North Sea.
So now it's time for a part of the show that we call One Time at the Store. If you're just joining us, if this is your first episode that you've heard, I've spent the last over 9 years now working at a large chain bookstore. I've pretty much seen it all in that time. The weird, the bizarre, the disgusting, and this story is one of them. So it's no secret that I'm cross-trained. I can do pretty much most of the stuff that I need to do in the store. I can work at the kids department, in music, I can work at the cash register, customer service, I can shelve. I can also work at the cafe. I am a fully trained barista in the cafe. I can make any kind of drinks that you need. One thing that you should be aware of whenever you go to get a latte or cappuccino or anything is you need to be aware of exactly what you want when you order. For example, if you want pretty much a latte, don't say you want a cappuccino and then say, "You're trying to cheat me, this is mostly foam," because you're used to the cappuccino machine at the gas station or the 7-Eleven, which basically gives you a latte. You should also not order a large size cappuccino, because those are a pain in the ass, because you have to steam literally 2 full steamers of milk to get enough foam, especially if you say, "Oh, I'd like it dry." There's a special hell for you. We try to discourage people from ordering drinks that are pretty complicated for us to make, especially because if there's a line and you say, "Oh yeah, I want 15 small frozen drinks, all different flavors, and I need them right now," everyone behind you is not going to hate you for ordering all of those. They're going to hate us because, well, we're just being slow and we can't keep up with the demand. Now, one of the drinks that our cafe had was a smoothie, and it used to be made in a very interesting way. When we first had it, had protein powder and different flavored syrups, but it also involved a whole banana. And I guess there were concerns about, possibly having a, fresh produce that would expire. So they would send us just big bags of frozen bananas, which seemed like a good idea in theory. Now, the problem with this was you had to mix half the ingredients and then blend it once, and then go fetch your banana and break it in half, and you had to have gloves on for that part, and then blend it again, and then add the ice and blend it a third time, and by that time you have a line out the door and everyone's pissed. So I really despised making these drinks, but it was one day, it was a Saturday, it was coming up close to the holiday season, and there was such a long line in cafe that I was sent over there to basically restock the bake case for the stuff in the fridge while everybody else was working. And so I went into the big walk-in freezer, and I had to pull, I think it was, some kind of cupcake that I was pulling out. So I moved the big blue bag of frozen bananas, and I moved them, and as I did, there was an undulation from within, like some kind of wave, and I thought, now that's just not normal. So I opened up the bag, and I found that, guess what? Frozen bananas can rot. And when frozen bananas rot, they just liquefy. So I was trying to get the attention of the barista. I was like, "Hey, Mike, psst, Mike." But I didn't want to shout across the whole entire cafe, "Hey, Mike, get a load of these rotten bananas in the bag in the freezer," because, no customer wants to hear that. So the cafe manager was actually standing. She was on her break, and she was standing at the steamer waiting for him to make her drink, and she's like, "What is your problem?" I was like, "Come here, look at this." And she goes, "Oh my God." And she, clicked them off on the waste log immediately. But few people know the horror that goes into making a smoothie. I mean, we have smoothies now, again, but we use fresh bananas that they're sent to us, and if we run out, we just send someone to the grocery store, in our case, across to Trader Joe's, to go get some more. But think about that next time you're having a smoothie. Did they make this with a frozen banana? Was that frozen banana half rotted? Just something to keep in mind. You look disgusted.
I'm entirely horrified, but that's more about tonight's Doctor Who.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I just want to say, because we're going into talking about Doctor Who, and this was last week's Doctor Who for you guys. So if you
Spoilers, you should already know better. Blah, blah, blah.
yeah, you're not going to get us talking about Journey to the Center of the TARDIS yet, because that is the future for us, which is quite appropriate for a time travel show. Come to think of it, tonight we saw Hyde.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
But, you know, overall, best episode since The Doctor's Wife, pretty much. However, there's one massive black mark which is making me angry. Now, how many of you have seen my Twatty Who reviews, where I get really, really annoyed about the minutiae of the show and, you know, little continuity issues and stuff like that?
Honey, don't pause. They're not going to answer you.
Some of them will answer.
That's
Some
true.
of them will know. Well, I will not do a Twatty Who review for Hyde, because Hyde was quite good. But it's called Metabolus, not Metabolus, you fucking idiot.
You guys have no idea. The whole entire episode, you would not shut up about it.
It's the planet Metabolus. That's where the third Doctor visited several times. That's where he picked up the blue crystal, he put it back there, he got radiation poisoning, and he died from it. It's a big thing.
Maybe he has PTSD about it. I'm sorry, the cat is trying to get under the table, and he's now caught in all of my wires for the mic. And he doesn't... Okay, everything is fixed now.
Well, touching a wire that's connected to a microphone can sometimes cause a little noise, you see?
Oh, well, we'll just edit that out.
Okay, so Metabolus.
Why? And this is the most ridiculous thing for you to harp on.
Not really.
He could have PTSD about it because he one of his incarnations, died because of it. He remember he gave a whole bunch of memories to the supernova sun god, in Rings of Akhenaten. That could have been one of the things. He could have forgotten how to pronounce it.
Or it's one of those random things where the show doesn't give a shit, such as randomly making the Doctor 900 years old when he was the 9th Doctor, when he was actually 952 years when he was the 7th Doctor.
Or that.
These little things of fucking up continuity. Okay, if I was around in 1976, I would have bitched about Tom Baker mispronouncing Gallifrey as Gallifrey.
Free.
Which I'm pretty sure he mispronounced it Gallifrey because he wanted to make a joke about how it sounded like it was from Ireland. Which Gallifrey does sound like a place in Ireland, but...
I'm gonna keep doing that every time.
It's...
Can we talk about, what was actually good with the episode before you have some kind of nervous aneurysm?
I'm gonna say something nice about David Tennant.
Oh, for Christ.
I'm gonna say something nice about David Tennant.
Go ahead.
David Tennant is a big Doctor Who fan. David Tennant would have picked up on that. Matt Smith isn't.
Maybe there's a plot reason though that he said it that way. You don't know.
He did forget what the Great Intelligence was a few episodes ago, and the last episode has been revealed as called The Name of the Doctor. Maybe there is some sort of a big plot reason. I hope there's a plot reason, because otherwise this is just demonstrating that on some level Stephen Moffat doesn't really give a shit.
I don't want to know what the Doctor's name is. That would make everything ruined.
Well, neither do I, but if there's a plot reason, I hope there's a plot reason. If not, it's a little bit of demonstration that Stephen Moffat doesn't give much of a shit, which, if you listen to some of his interviews in the 90s, he clearly really didn't that much.
Well, anyway, so there were some good things. Actually, there was a lot of good stuff about this episode that I really liked. It was just a very well put together episode. Nothing felt hokey or stupid. And Clara was even better, and we got to see her having, pretty much a cat fight with the TARDIS, which I thought was kind of cool. She comes in from the rain, and she's looking around for a place to put the umbrella, and she's like, we really need a place to put this, and he's like, I used to have one, and Hagen's like, oh, every single TARDIS, every single season there was always one, and I'm like, yeah, because now that she wanted it, the TARDIS took it away.
Or it's possible that the it vanished. Maybe the Doctor's forgetting stuff, but...
Yeah, but the Doctor forgetting something in the TARDIS doesn't mean the TARDIS forgets it.
It would have been a nice touch if the umbrella that Clara had a question mark end of it, like the 7th Doctor's.
Oh, that's cool. She picked it up and she's like, I'll just use this one.
Yeah, that would have been a nice touch, because you can actually buy those, from the BBC, or at least you used to be able to.
Maybe she brought that one from home.
Maybe. It's just one of those things would have been a nice touch.
The power of love did compel us yet again. Although this time it wasn't stupid. This time it actually worked, and I approved.
if they hadn't reused and reused the idea of love being powerful in New Who, this would have been a good twist. As it is, it's just yet another episode with love being overrated.
Care Bear, stare!
Although I have to say, you got the two aliens. The Doctor just decides that one of them is male and one of them is female. I don't know how he does it. They're exactly the same, literally, because they were played by the same actor in the same fucking suit. And Doctor, you should know better. Aliens, you don't know.
They could have both been human, or could have both been female or male.
Yeah, they could have been gay. They could have been asexual.
Gay alien monsters.
They could have been asexual, and the shot where the Doctor's facing one down face to face looked fucking awful. Every other shot of them, they looked fine and they looked frightening, but when you get them face to face in the big light,
I thought it would look really creepy. I was like, oh my god, look at that.
Yeah, but face to face, it looked like a bad makeup job.
I thought it was neat. Well, you were already in a fuss because of the thingy. But
Metabolus.
Would you stop it? No, but I like that. I mean, and one of the things that I think I really am starting to understand about the Doctor is, like, pretty much the one thing that he's afraid of is not knowing. Like, usually people would be like, what's this? He'd be like, oh, well, obviously it's the things and stuff from this place, and I know things and stuff about it. But the moments where he seems to be caught short, where they're like, Doctor, what is it? He's like, I don't know. I think that's where his terror lies. And I thought that was a neat revelation.
Are you forgetting the episode with the 1980s hotel and the Minotaur?
No, because I was really only paying attention to that one, honey. Sorry about that.
Well, they showed people their greatest fears in the rooms, and we never saw the Doctor's fear, but it was red, and it featured the cloister bell, the sound of the TARDIS in distress, and he was like, oh, of course. We never saw what it was.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, the cloister bell is when the Doctor's in serious trouble, and when is the Doctor most in serious trouble is when he doesn't know what to do because he doesn't have enough information.
Well, the red light is quite often used in the TARDIS to show danger. I'm thinking it was the TARDIS being dying or something.
Yeah, I guess, because then he would have lost his best and only friend, and he'd be stranded.
Yep.
It would be the end for him because the Master's gone, so no one can save him now unless it's him from like another one of his incarnations in the past saves him,
or the future.
Because
if he's in trouble and he's gonna fail and he's gonna die, but if you get saved by him from the future, that means he obviously survives because he gets saved and goes back in time to save himself.
This is true, but yeah. So
guest cast. Dockery Scott.
Oh, MG. I don't know who that is.
The guy from the Ungentlemanly Warfare, which was a real thing, by the way. It was British Secret Service doing crazy shit in Germany. Christopher Lee and Ian Fleming both worked for it. But he was originally cast back in the year 2000-ish as Wolverine in the X-Men movie.
Oh, MG.
He was the villain in Mission Impossible 2, but the filming overran, so he had to bow out of doing X-Men. Hugh Jackman got the role, and Dockery Scott kicked himself for the next 15 years.
Did he really, or you just think he did?
I think he did, because he could have had himself, paycheck from paycheck from paycheck. Look at how Hugh Jackman's career's gone compared to his.
Yeah, but Hugh Jackman's more muscly than he is.
Hugh Jackman, well, he was in shape then. Hugh Jackman, okay, we'll just say Hugh Jackman gets his own movies.
Well, can he sing? Because then he might have had Hugh Jackman's place in Les Mis.
I don't know if he can sing, but...
He can sing in a Scottish accent.
But Hugh Jackman... Hugh Jackman's in lots of films right now. Dockery Scott's appearing in Doctor Who.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe he's got, like, a wife and kids, that he wants to spend time with. You don't know. You're, like, speculating on people's lives.
I'm speculating
You're just pissed off about that Mobius thing.
Metabolus?
Whatever.
I'm always pissed off about that.
I'm not going to hear the end of this for days, you guys.
I'm hoping there's some sort of a plot reason, because it's just... Otherwise, Stephen Moffat doesn't give a shit. Or he's winding us up.
We were setting up the mic and setting up the recording for this, and she was on a Doctor Who forum, and there's, 6 pages of people bitching about it already?
6 pages, yeah.
You people have issues.
Someone pointed out on the forum, this is wonderful. In the Green Death, the Doctor mispronounces the word chinitas.
So it's chitinous, isn't it?
Yeah, he mispronounces it as chinitas. And the Doctor Who, they received one of the most infamous letters in Doctor Who history, which was a letter just bitching about the fact that they mispronounced the word.
Is that how you say it in England?
No.
Oh.
So they mispronounced it. And
maybe John Pertwee didn't know what the word was.
Yes,
it phonetically.
Yes, he mispronounced it because he didn't know.
Oh.
So the production team received a massive letter just bitching about that one mispronunciation over and over and over again. Green Death was the first time that Metebelis turned up in Doctor Who. So someone's suggesting this could be a very, very amusing in-joke.
Now that'd be pretty cool, but then how would you find out unless someone says it in an interview?
Commentary.
Oh.
Part of me is sad that they don't do what they used to do, which they used to have right after an episode aired, they would put a commentary that was done just whenever the episode was made on the BBC. You could download.
Oh, that'd be cool.
They used to do that for like the first 2 seasons, and they stopped, and then they would record new commentaries for the DVDs. I really wish they'd still done that, so I could have like Sue and Moffat going, "Yeah, I totally meant to do that because I fucking hate Doctor Who."
He's Scottish?
Yes, he is.
There you go. Well, I want to know where they filmed because that house looked pretty.
It looked like the same place they filmed in the Poison Sky and the Sontaran stratagem back in season 4.
Oh.
And also in the Girl in the Fireplace when they were showing Versailles.
Oh. Well, it looked cool. I also liked the thing that, like, oh, there's ghosts has been, mentions in Anglo-Saxon poetry going back a billion years. And I liked that it was something in the future that hadn't happened yet that reached back and created this whole entire legend. I love shit like that.
And whenever the Doctor took her place in the actual pocket universe, which I really wish that they'd looked at the photos they'd taken of the woman, the ghost, and they'd been replaced with images of the Doctor as the ghost. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been neat. The only thing I thought was kind of weird was when the ghost, the quote-unquote, the ghost makes its first major appearance, and you got that kind of spinning, shaking mirror disky thing. I was like, what? Who designed that? Because it felt out of place.
Yeah.
Both times it appeared, it felt very out of place.
And the TARDIS, they were all like, oh, I can't bring the TARDIS there because it would die within 5 seconds. And then they do it once and it's like, okay, that's cheesy, but they got rid of them. And then they do it again. It's like...
Well, no, I think the thing is, if it landed there, in 4 seconds it would have drained her heart, and then in 10 seconds she would be dead.
Yeah, and it landed both times.
No, it just swooshed past and he jumped on it.
No, the second time they landed, it was there and he jumped on it.
Yeah, but then it immediately materialized in the room.
Yeah, it's like, you got this thing where the Doctor...
the TARDIS knows what she's doing, don't second guess.
The Doctor and the TARDIS both refused to do this because it was too dangerous, and then they decided to do it twice.
Well, because the first time he was in mortal danger and the TARDIS knew it.
Patrick Troughton wouldn't have done that.
Listen, the first time she agreed to do it because the Doctor was in mortal danger and she knew it, even though she's being bitchy with Clara. The second time, he probably talked her into it.
You know the bit where got the spacesuit?
Yeah.
And the spacesuit, Clara was bitching about the spacesuit and saying it was really hurtful in her eyes. What did we think the Doctor should have commented about?
I think then he should have said, oh, you should have seen this old coat I used to have. Because that would be great, because Colin Baker's the best Doctor, I'm just saying.
Yeah. He could have, thrown the coat in her face or made her wear it as a hat or something.
No, I like the coat. I think he should get to wear it again somehow.
I like the coat as well. They should really go to a planet where it's like, the aliens have really see color differently
Yeah,
than us.
Remember how he was always saying, oh, it's very in fashion in XYZ?
Yeah.
He should have to go to that planet, and everyone laughed, like, oh, wait, hold on a second. And then appeared Dapper. And then, you know what? I bet Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant would tweet about it.
Yes, they would.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could do an alien race.
You should follow them on Twitter, because they're awesome.
Or you could do an alien race who see color differently than us, and so that seems subdued. They have, their rods or cones, I can't remember which is which, in your eyes.
Like the mantis shrimp that has 16 of them that can see all colors ever.
Yeah, so they can't see colors as well as us, so things have to be brighter for them. So
no, because what would happen would be Stephen Moffat would have to get the oatmeal to help him write an episode where the Doctor goes to the planet of the mantis shrimp, and the whole entire internet would collapse in spontaneous orgasm. I'm just saying.
Well, that's not quite what I was suggesting.
You can suggest it more.
I was just suggesting that there's an alien race who don't see color as well as we do. Oh. So what is considered bright to us is considered dull to them. So everyone wears really bright clothing by our standards. So that's why that's a race that might wear a coat like that.
Okay. What you guys can't see is we have like luggage strewn about the living room, and the cat is presently skulking behind them so he can pop out and pounce on his toys, and it's very cute and amusing.
Yes.
But Clara continues to grow on me, and here's something that we had a disagreement about.
Like a tumor.
Stop it. So she's like, wait a second, we were just at the dawn of Earth, and now it's destroyed. The doctor's like, yep, and she's like, and you've got no problem with that. He's like, nope.
Why would he have a problem with it?
Well, no, like, she wouldn't understand why he doesn't have a problem with it. And he's like, well, time, I'm everywhere, I've seen everything, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh, but then, I mean, to you, I haven't been born yet, and I've already died. And he's like, well, I mean, she's like, I'm just like a ghost. And he's like, no, because you're a mystery, because things and stuff. And Hagen's like, she's just being such a twat. And I'm like, no, she's not. I would have done the same thing if I'd watched him go out onto the Earth primeval at its genesis, and then seen it a barren, desolate, Mars-like wasteland, And she says, "Is my body out there somewhere?" And he's like, "Yeah, and well, probably in atoms, yeah, but." That's a fucking sobering thing. To stand there and witness the creation of the world that contains all, like, the sum total of your experience.
You said that you were at the start of Earth, and then you said your body is out there like it was after, and then you went back to creation at the start again. Well,
no, but like to be a human and to take that in. That's yeah. I would have had the same reaction.
She was trying to demonstrate that the Doctor was being uncaring and nasty about it. The Doctor just sees time.
No, he wasn't being uncaring and nasty. She was struggling to comprehend his point of view, because to her, like, that's everything ever for me. And yes, she's been in space now. She's been to other worlds, but that's still something that affects you. She's still human. She will one day die or go on to do whatever she's doing according to Stephen Moffat.
Okay, let's reenact this series, this thing where you're being Clara and I'm being the Doctor, because you have said several times that you're my companion, I'm the Doctor. Okay. So let's do this, companion.
All right. Oh my gosh, that's like the end of the world, and that's kind of sad and makes me think about mortality, and it's a little bit existentially horrifying. Sorry, you guys, the cat is also running across the TARDIS making noise.
Okay, now you gotta say thing. You gotta say the born and die and thing.
So to you, I haven't even been born, and I'm already dead. I'm like
no.
She just poked me. You can't see it, but she poked me. I don't know why she's doing this, because this is not a visual medium.
See, you're being born. You're not dead yet. You're still there. You're not a ghost. Let's go.
But he didn't.
Stop being a twat.
But no. I think you're wrong. Just because you're very emotionless about the idea of entropy and decay and stuff like that. Audience, discuss this in comments when this comes out, and tell us who's right, because I would be affected like that.
Well, I'm just thinking.
She's only been a companion for half a season. She doesn't have the kind of scope
quarter of a season.
The kind of depth, that someone who's been around for like the Ponds,
Well, you got he's showing her 5 billion years in the future. If she needs to, have the sobering thought that she's not going to be alive in 5 billion years, then she has some sort of weird self-obsession of not realizing that, she's going to be dead in 5,500, let alone 5 billion.
Well, it's still depressing. I mean, I'll be driving home from work and all of a sudden hit with the fact that no matter what I do, every single day, no matter what action I take, eventually there will be a point in time where my consciousness is no longer recording, and quite honestly, I have to stop and try to think about something else as quick as possible, or I'm going to panic and drive off the road. That's a horrifying thought. I don't care who you are.
This demonstrates complete differences to me. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that you can't really call her a twat because you don't agree with her. I think that okay, we always say how Stephen Moffat can't write women. I think it's not even as a woman. That's a very human response. I can empathize with that.
Stephen Moffat didn't write this episode.
Well, that's probably why. That's probably why all the women were good, because he had nothing to do with it.
It has been pointed out that Stephen Moffat is by far the worst writer of Clara so far.
But all of the emotional reactions by the people, the humans in this episode, yeah, I can totally understand. If I was writing that episode, I would have written things similarly. She has to, and I think that this is, like I said, part of her evolution as a companion. And I just think you want to bitch about it because you're pissed off about the Mobius thing.
No. It's completely separate. I think that she was being an over-emotional twat. She was stared into the face with the fact that she's going to be dead in 5 billion years' time, and that's affecting. Oh dear, you might as well be really affected by the fact that, Doctor, it's the same day I left, but we're in China. I'm not here. I shouldn't be here. We somehow went across the everything in seconds. This doesn't bother you? No.
But she doesn't have the scope of depth to understand that yet. Of course, he's fucking seen it all. But she has to grow to understand that. You know?
Yeah, like someone is like caveman.
I am Ugg. I suddenly do not understand that I could be on other side of valley very, very quickly. No, mind is blown.
Well, yeah, if he's a... But the
Caveman Ugg is being a twat.
No, because people don't just suddenly be okay with something. It has to take a second. You know, it's like how people in our parents' generation are okay with some parts of technology, but other parts they're just like, whoa, I just can't deal. You know, like my mom, she works on a computer, she has email, she plays solitaire in the mornings and little clicky fun games, but any other parts of it, she's probably kind of afraid it will explode. You know, I mean, it's a very human reaction. And I
agree. Being a twat is a human reaction.
For Christ's sake. Well, anyway, it's time for the dictionary, and since I haven't got it down, you need to go fetch it.
I got an idea.
What?
We're not going to use a dictionary. I'm going to use a different book that has lots of different words in it.
But I want to use the dictionary.
Okay.
Well, which book did you want to use?
Well, the one in front of me. So I didn't have to get up.
Oh, why not? We can cut this part out.
She was being a twat.
I was not being a twat.
No, not you, Clara.
Audience, I was right. No, I'm serious. Like, say wherever if you see us, if you watch the episode by us tweeting, if you watch it on the Project Million website and comment there, or on either of our Facebooks, let us know what you think, because I'm curious about
Oh dear, I'm in the primordial earth and I've not been born yet. This is mind-blowing.
Yes, it is! Yes, it fucking is! But anyway, what page should I turn to?
If you're used to...
I'm not getting you to know. What page should I turn to?
74.
Okay.
She traveled in time before.
It's something you
Rose did the exact same shit, she just didn't articulate it very well back in the end of the world. The second episode.
Ooh, I see what this is all about. This is because you hate Rose.
No,
so,
it was twatty when Rose did it too.
Column 1 or 2?
2. Okay. It was just as twatty when Rose did it. She just didn't articulate. She was just more like I'm Rose and I'm in the future. Oh my god.
1 through 9.
9. Oh my god.
Break. And I'm not going to read it because there's about a billion bajillion definitions and uses of
break.
the word break.
Our marriage right now.
No. To fall to pieces, to cause to do this. She broke her leg, broke the bone in it, to damage,
Amanda
to make...
broke their wedding by referring to Clara as a twat. Metabilis.
Are you done yet?
You know what?
Oh.
Matt Smith mispronounced Metabilis. In fact, I'm so angry that right now, Matt is a B-list actor.
But there could be a plot reason you don't even know.
And if I will rescind my...
You know who's being a twat? You're being a twat about it.
I'm being a twat about that, but Clara was being a twat about something else.
She was not. So anyway, this has been episode 18, thank God, of Lesbian Talk.
And we'd just like to apologize. We're going to submit, apologize for the audio issue.
Yeah, I think I had the mic too close to the cooling deck. So if there's a problem, well, I'm sorry. Don't comment on that because we already know. Yeah. But at least we're in the same room this time. So it's only one mic that you have to deal with, not two. So anyway, I've been the Omega Geek, and who have you been this time?
A twat.
Pretty much. And we'll see you next time, you guys.